Hello everyone, Ryan here. The Essential Aerosmith. This is pretty much like a greatest hits collection, except it's not called greatest hits. So I listened to this and I thought it was pretty good. I'll go ahead and do the track listing here. It's a 2 CD collection, so on disc 1 it starts with Mama Kid. Number 2 is Dream On. 3 is, or I believe not Mama Kid, Mama Kin. Yeah, alright, I'm trying to read the font here, and so Mama Kin, Dream On, and then Same Old Song and Dance, Seasons of Wither, Walk This Way, big 10-inch record, Sweet Emotion, Last Child, Back in the Saddle, Draw the Line, Dude, in parentheses, Looks Like a Lady, 12, Angel, 13, Ragdoll, 14, Jane's Got a Gun, 15 is Lovin' and Elevator, and last track, 16, is titled What It Takes. So as far as my favorites on disc 1, I do like Dream On. Obviously, I know a lot of people like that Aerosmith song. It's pretty much, I believe it's like their most iconic song. Another one I like is Walk This Way, Sweet Emotion, Dude, Looks Like a Lady, Janie's Got a Gun. I think that's pretty much it. Big 10-inch record. I never heard that song before, but then, I'm not a big diehard Aerosmith fan to begin with. But I was surprised by the lyrical content of this song. I mean, because it's humorous. It's like pretty much comedic, and so yeah. I mean, I didn't expect. I had no idea that Aerosmith had a song like this. Then of course, like Dude, the song "Dude," Looks Like a Lady. The only reason I guess I like that song is because I first heard it in the soundtrack for Mrs. Doubtfire. And yeah, I remember, I think I was back in the 90s. So yeah, when I was a kid growing up in the 90s, and that song was played a lot. And then, I mean, because it coincided with the release of the movie Mrs. Doubtfire. So on to disc number 2. Starts with The Other Side, Living on the Edge, Crying, then Amazing, Deuces Are Wild, Crazy, Falling in Love, Pink, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, Jaded, Just Push Play, Walk This Way. This is a different version. The version they did with Run DMC, and then Girls of Summer, and the last track, Lay It Down. So on disc 2, my favorites are Living on the Edge, I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, Walk This Way. Even though the version with Run DMC, but I also like the original version too. And also The Other Side. Yeah. I know, like, other songs like Just Push Play or Jaded, Girls of Summer. I never really like those songs because the thing with that is, like, there's a lot of Aerosmith songs that I don't really like just because I feel like they're they're way too soft for me. But I mean, I know, they that's a big part of their career is, they became known for not only for the songs, their bluesy rock songs, but also their very slow, emotional ballads. And I guess I think it's safe to assume that that's a big part of what made Aerosmith so popular, because of the fact that it's kind of like majority of the catalog is like 50% or near close to 50% bluesy rock songs, and then another 50% of slow ballad kind of stuff, even lovey-dovey kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously, they got enough material to like satisfy just about anyone, I believe. So that, and then the fact that their entire career spans multiple generations. So it's, I will say, like, Joe Perry, the guitar player, the lead guitarist, I guess he's never really been one of my favorite guitarists, but on some songs I do like some of the guitar solos that he plays. I will say I've never been a big fan of like the kind of distortion that Joe Perry uses, and because it's got like, I mean, not counting, back when they first started out and they didn't have access to a lot of current amplifier technology. I'm not even counting that. I mean, but even like in the recent stuff that they started to do, like in the 90s, or even like late 80s, 90s, and then early 2000s, it's still like, I never really liked the kind of distortion that he used. And but again, that's a personal choice for me. I don't know, because I kind of feel like, especially on some songs where he's got some really awesome guitar solos, to me, they don't really like stand out that much. And I felt like, I just feel like if he had used even some slightly different kind of distortion, it could have really pushed his lead guitar work out into the forefront and been much more noticeable, much more talked about, or I don't know. But I know, I think like usually with Aerosmith songs, it's always like Steven Tyler. For the vast majority of their songs, it's always Steven Tyler's vocals that stand out the most. And which, yeah, that's understandable, because I mean, he's pretty awesome. Although I know that now he's obviously not able to hit the exact same high notes that he used to when he was considerably younger. But I mean, obviously, that happens with age. Happens to a lot of awesome singers. So, but I mean, he can still sing. So it's. I never got to see Aerosmith in concert. I think last time they actually played here where I live in El Paso, Texas, but I think it was like sometime in the 90s, and I was supposed to go with my parents. I think I was maybe 9 or 10 years old at the time, and so I was supposed to go with my parents, and then I got the flu or something like that. I got some really bad cold or something, and the only reason I remember it, because I remember it as being like, the time when I could have seen Aerosmith in concert, but wasn't able to because I got sick, and I mean, I had a high fever, could barely stand up, and so it's, yeah, I don't know. I think my mom ended up going. my dad like stayed home with me, or I don't really remember a lot. It's just I just remember being pretty freaking sick and missing out on Aerosmith. But yeah, as far as like everything else goes, drumming is decent. I know that Aerosmith's drummers never been like really too technical. Although, I mean, there's little parts here and there when he does kind of really get going, get into it. He gets into it. And bass, I couldn't really notice too many bass tracks. I don't know. I guess their bass player's pretty decent. But yeah, pretty much for me, like when it comes to this collection, you know, I would say it's a pretty good collection. You know, it's a nice mix of their more popular stuff, and like some, I don't know, like a sprinkling of some of their not so popular stuff. I mean, I don't know. That's what I consider it. And pretty much most of these are mixed and mastered pretty decently. I mean, taking into consideration, you know, back when they first started, and you know, a lot of the recording technology, studio technology was very sparse. Yeah, I believe that's the correct word. So, I mean, overall, I give this collection 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah. I think that's mostly because, like, I would give it 5, but I think for me, I kind of feel like this really isn't that much of what the title claims, the essential Aerosmith. But I don't know. I guess maybe if you're a diehard Aerosmith fan, then you would consider it. There's a possibility you might consider it to be the essential Aerosmith. So I don't know, or maybe it's just the essential Aerosmith according to Aerosmith. So yeah, I give it 4 out of 5 stars. That'll do it for my review of this, the essential Aerosmith. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, until next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.